Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 26th July 2021. Okay, let us see which are the important articles. Yes, these are the important articles. First of all, we will take review of all these articles, then we will discuss them in detail. First article on page number 6, a climate risk excuse me. Yes, this particular article is having the context of extreme weather events of the torrential rainfall within the short period of time, and the variability in the monsoon rainfall, increase in the cyclonic activity in Bay of Bengal or in general Indian Ocean region. So all these are, let's say, becoming the challenge in future. Such kind of extreme weather events are going to increase, and therefore these challenges, we have to deal with these challenges. What should be the way forward here? Then this is important from GS1 Geography and GS3 paper Environment section as well as Disaster Management section. Then the money changer on page number 6, this particular editorial talks about the RBI has hinted for the introduction of official digital currency. So pilot project is going to be implemented first. So all these things, what are the challenges involved in having the official digital currency or in general the cryptocurrencies which are being in use. Okay, so all these aspects are important from GS3 paper economy part. We will take input here. Then lessons from India's food security response. There is one article on page number 7. So this is important from social justice and governance perspective. Food security. Many questions have already been appearing in GS2 paper regarding food security. So again, it is important. What are the steps taken during the pandemic time? At the same time, in future, what are the measures required to ensure access to food and no one goes without food? Okay, so leave no one behind strategy. So what measures are required for that? For prelims examination, on first page, article regarding Ramappa temple in Telangana gets World Heritage tag. Okay, so it was declared as UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this is good development from art and culture perspective. What is this Ramappa temple of Kakatiya dynasty, 13th century temple? Basics about that. This is important from prelims perspective. Finally, COVID-19 related developments at national and international stage and daily practice prelims MCQ on current affairs. Yes, first a climate risk. Particular article is having the context of recent increase in rainfall in certain pockets of the country while there is deficient rainfall in other parts of the country. This variability in the monsoon rainfall, this is the context. Along with that, the changes in the cyclonic activity in recent past also. Okay, so Indian Meteorological Department data on rainfall variability has shown that there is increase in rainfall in Deccan Plateau region and southern states, especially along the western slopes of the western Ghats. The kind of landslides we have seen, observed, and many people died in Konkan coast of Maharashtra in last week. Okay, so this is because of increase in the rainfall more than normal. Even Mahabaleshwar received highest rainfall in the past. Okay, so this is given by IMD data. However, there is deficient rainfall in central India, northwest India and northeast India. So this kind of variability is increasing more and more year on year. Okay, so this is data given by IMD. Along with that, the changes in the cyclonic activity, there is increase in overall number of cyclones in Indian Ocean, and there is changes in the trend in the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Okay, so there is increase in activity or increase in cyclones in Arabian Sea. Recently there was cyclone Tautay, right, in Arabian Sea that, let's say, led to rainfall in Maharashtra and later on in Gujarat. Then there is decline in cyclonic activity to some extent in Bay of Bengal. In Bay of Bengal. So this is the changes in the cyclonic activities, and further it is going to bring many changes along the western and eastern coast, especially the storm surges because of rainfall during the cyclone landfall. Okay, so impact of such extreme events. First of all, we should be aware about floods and droughts. Second, we can say that landslides, avalanching. Okay, so landslides, this is happening whenever there is incessant rainfall. When we talk about floods, we should be also considering urban floods phenomenon, which has, let's say, last year we have seen in Hyderabad, Pune region, Mumbai, every year urban floods is the problem. In 2015 we have seen Chennai urban floods, this is problem. Okay, so this is the impact. Along with that, we should understand that the impact is more in the rural areas where sufficient infrastructure is not available. Even in the urban areas, slums being developed along the slopes of the hills, they are facing the landslide problem. Recently in Maharashtra, Mumbai, there was landslides, and that landslide has led to death of many people in the slums region. Okay, so the impact of the storm surges, again the flooding because of rainfall during the cyclonic time period. Okay, all these are we have to understand. Along with that, the kind of, let's say, it has impact on the agriculture, crop failure. Okay, then we can talk about inundation of the coastline, coastal areas by salt water. So fresh water supply becomes again the scarce commodity, right? So this is also the problem due to cyclonic activity and storm surges. Okay, now challenges ahead. What are the challenges? Yes, we can understand that because of extreme weather events, first challenge becomes the challenge of forecasting. Challenge of forecasting. So forecasting these extreme weather events, let's say more rainfall in certain region, or if you are talking about the cyclones, that becomes a major challenge in future. Along with that, the second aspect is climate proofing. So climate proofing is the term which is gaining traction because of the increasing climate change and the subsequent events. So climate proofing refers to making the particular area or the infrastructure resilient to such kind of extreme events happening due to climate change. Okay, this is called as climate proofing. For example, every time what we do is whenever there is cyclone, we evacuate many people along the coastal areas of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh to the interiors for some time period and again relocate them. Okay, so this is not always the solution. Rather, what we can do is not doing the construction activity in the vulnerable area itself. Okay, this is called as climate proofing. So we should identify the risk areas, the vulnerable areas in risk mapping exercise, and then what we can do is having such kind of resilient infrastructure in that region, or we can say that not promoting the construction activities in that region. Okay, so yes, as a way forward you can provide such project. In forecasting, yes, we have made sufficient progress in cyclone forecasting, along with that for the monsoon rainfall, but that is limited to short term. Long term forecasting of the monsoon phenomenon is still, we can say, the area where the scientists are still struggling all over the world. Okay, so in this manner we need to discuss kind of question: increase in number of extreme weather events in India calls for climate proofing of the most vulnerable regions. Okay, so climate proofing, especially in the coastal areas or those which are prone to landslides or which are prone to storm surges because of cyclones, identifying them, and let us say climate proofing, that is resilience, bringing resilience in the infrastructure in that region. Okay, so we can discuss in this manner. Next article, money changer. The context of this article is recently one of the RBI, we can say deputy governor, has said that it has indicated that the pilot projects to figure out viability of official digital currency is likely to be launched soon. So this is good news, because already the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and we can say Ether, they have been in news and they are now allowed in Indian market also. You may be watching many such ads like Bitcoin exchange, or let's say many such apps have been there for the trading in the Bitcoin or these cryptocurrencies, right. So this is going to be the reality in near future, and therefore it is being said that there should be some kind of regulation of these currencies. So already cryptocurrency and regulation of official digital currency bill 2021 is device drafted but yet to be introduced in the parliament. Okay, yet to be introduced in the parliament. At present there is no regulation, strict regulation in a sense of these cryptocurrencies, and therefore there is need of regulation under any law of the parliament. Now what are the challenges? First of all, we have to understand in challenges how is it going to be used. Along with that, we have to also understand the technology, how technology will be used for launching the digital currency, official digital currency. Then the challenge of cyber attacks. So whatever the system we are going to be put in place, that should be let's say giving protection against cyber attacks. Okay, these are the challenges. Along with that, how it will have impact on people, their behavior, economic behavior, and overall monetary policy of RBI. So this should be appropriately analyzed. These challenges should be appropriately analyzed, and as a way forward, after understanding these risks and the challenges, appropriate regulation of all these cryptocurrencies is very important. While regulating, appropriate competition among the or in the use of these currencies, there should not be any misuse of the technology. Okay, so making the technology cyber attack proof, this is also very important. Okay, so the infrastructure, cyber infrastructure. So strengthening this cyber infrastructure, this is also very important, right. So in way forward, you can write this, and you can also say that either RBI can take the responsibility of regulation, or independent body, regulatory body can be there for regulation of these cryptocurrencies. So you can say that passing this particular bill, appropriate regulatory authority and cyber infrastructure, all these aspects are important as a way forward. Fine. Now moving on to next, lessons from India's food security response. Why the article is saying that food security response? It is talking about the response during the pandemic and the lessons that should be learned from that response. So yes, first of all, let us understand the impact of the pandemic on food security. Surely we have, let's say, the many people losing the income during the pandemic, and therefore the food security became the major challenge here. Many people, especially the migrant labor, we have seen many cases of migrant labor going hungry, and therefore the cases of death due to hunger also last year during the pandemic time, which prompted the government to launch this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, which provided for around almost 80 crore people in the country, which were given 5 kg of food grains. Okay, 5 kg of food grains per month free of cost, plus 1 kg of pulses, okay, per month. So this was given last year. Now this is revived, and for the third time it is going to be implemented this year also up to Diwali. This was recently announced by Prime Minister. We all know about this. Up to November month this is going to be implemented. This was the response by the central government. Also, in addition to them, each and every state government also had given the additional free food grains according to their capacities. Okay, so this was our response. However, despite of this, because of many, let's say, problems, for example, the migrant laborers were not having, let's say, ration cards. As these ration cards were not valid in the other states, they faced the problems in receiving the benefits. Okay, subsidized food grains under the National Food Security Act, okay, PDS 2013, and the allocations under this. Okay, this was the major challenge. Along with that, there was, despite of having the buffer stock, the food grains were not made accessible to the poor people, vulnerable people. This became the problem. Okay, so how to overcome this challenge as a way forward? First of all, we have to understand that one nation, one ration card scheme. This is very innovative and this should be implemented. The portability of the ration cards throughout the country. In this manner, the migrant laborers, they will be able to receive the benefits of this National Food Security Act and the provisions under it. Second is that making our agriculture climate resilient. Making our agriculture climate resilient, as extreme events are going to happen, droughts, floods, therefore our crops should be resilient to such extreme events. There should be genetically modified let's say crops which are climate resilient crops, resilient to such extreme events, drought prone, we can say that such crops can be developed through genetic engineering. Also, there is need of appropriate cropping pattern according to agroclimatic, ecological zones of that region. Okay, so making agriculture climate resilient, this should be the priority. Third aspect, we have to understand that reducing the food wastage. Almost around 1/3 of the food grains produced in the country are wasted. Okay, so this food wastage should be reduced. This when we reduce that food wastage, automatically we are also reducing the power consumed for the production of these food grains, right? So in this manner, provide the way forward so as to ensure food security in the country in coming future. What can be the question? Discuss the measures required to be taken to improve access to the food grains and inclusion among the missing vulnerable population. Okay, so basically inclusion, this one nation, one ration card is going to be good idea, and further to ensure the food access long term these two measures. Fine? Okay. Now, specifically prelims related development, Telangana temple gets World Heritage Tag. So, here we are talking about the Ramappa temple, who was declared as UNESCO or World Heritage Site recently. This temple was declared UNESCO World Heritage Site. Ramappa temple, you can see the photograph here also. Basic information, it was built by Racharla, who was the general of Kakatiya king Ganpati Deva, 13th century. Okay, about the Kakatiya dynasty, it was ruled in the present day Telangana and Andhra Pradesh during 12th to 14th century. Okay, medieval era kingdom in the peninsular region. Capital was Erugulu, present day Warangal in Telangana. Present day Warangal in Telangana, and the strongest king of that dynasty, Kakatiya dynasty, was Ganpati Deva. Okay, Ganpati Deva. So yes, this Racharla was actually the commander or general of this Ganpati Deva king, and he built this Ramappa temple. Fine. So the temple is known for its exquisite craftsmanship and delicate relief work. Along with that, the foundation is built with sandbox techniques, wherein the flooring is of granite and the pillars are of basalt. Now, the lower part of the temple is made of red sandstone, while the wide gopuram is built with light bricks that reportedly float on water. Okay, so art and architecture, especially the temple architecture, this is important for prelims as well as men's examination. Now, this is significant as it is included in World Heritage Site of UNESCO list. Fine? Okay. Now, there was one question about in prelims about Kakatiya dynasty, that's why it becomes relevant for our prelims examination. Fine? About Kakatiya dynasty also you should be aware. These kings of the Kakatiya dynasty were earlier actually the leaders of, or we can say they were generals of Chalukya dynasty in the Deccan region. Okay, later on they declared independent kingdom of Kakatiya dynasty in that region. Okay, basically the plains of Godavari and Krishna river, that was the region where Kakatiya rulers were ruling. Fine. Okay. Now, COVID-19 related developments. Yes. The number of excess deaths registered by civil registration system in the West Bengal ever since COVID-19 pandemic hit, that is from 2020 April to recently May 2021, was estimated 11 times the official reported figure. The table is given for different states for that period. The excess deaths, you can see the West Bengal 11 times the nature of deaths as compared to COVID deaths. Then we can see the significantly higher in Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, 17.9, 23.8%. Overall, on an average, 8% deaths, excess deaths were let's say higher than the COVID-19 deaths. So, to some extent, the data which is registered for the deaths as COVID-19 deaths is being called as, let's say, not representing the exact data. Especially for West Bengal, it is being said that the rural areas did not have the correct registration of COVID-19 deaths. Okay, so some data about the deaths and COVID-19 cases which are not accurate data. Okay, so you should be aware about that. Now, finally, some practice prelims MCQs. Try to solve this MCQ. Everyone. Okay, so yes, such kind of question we can expect here, as it is in news, Ramappa temple, and we have to consider the following statement and we have to find the incorrect statements here. The temple is located in Andhra Pradesh. No, it is located in Telangana. So this is incorrect. It was built during the rule of Kakatiya dynasty. Yes, this is correct. The capital of Kakatiya kingdom was present day Vishakhapatnam. This is incorrect. It is present day Warangal. Orugalu. Okay, Warangal. So incorrect statement 1 and 3 are incorrect. So answer should be D here. Fine. Okay. So these are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes. So yes, we will meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.